And hello, I'm Capital Weather Gang meteorologist Matthew Pucci, carefully tracking Tropical Storm Isaias as it moves up the eastern seaboard with very heavy rainfall, wind, and storm surge threats. Now here's satellite imagery from Monday morning showing you some overshooting tops towards the middle of the storm right here. And that's indicative of very strong thunderstorms whose updraft is strong enough that it actually punctures what we call the tropopause and kind of ripples outwards from there. Overnight, Sunday night into Monday morning, we had a very impressive blow up of these intense thunderstorms that really tried to help intensify it. Couldn't do it all that much, but look at the deep oranges, the reds, as all that air really rises. On the East Coast, up to 30 million people will be subjected to very heavy rain and potential flooding. Some of the worst rain could fall in the DC area and the Mid-Atlantic, where 4 to 6 inches of rain is likely, especially on Tuesday. In addition, gusty winds from the Chesapeake eastward over the Delmarva Peninsula, up to 45 or even 50 miles per hour, with lesser winds off to the west along the I-95 corridor. Otherwise, tropical storm warnings up and down the East Coast, all the way up to Long Island, and a tropical storm watch farther inland and farther north as well, making its run from the Mid-Atlantic to New England between late Tuesday into Wednesday. Now, one thing we really have to watch is the potential for Isaias to interact with the jet stream, which could give it enough energy that we would see very strong winds near the coast thanks to something called a sting jet. If that did occur, we could be talking wind gusts over 70 miles per hour from the Delmarva Peninsula all the way up to Long Island. Now, I want to show you this. These are all the models, the European model in red, the American model in blue. Very good agreement that the center of the storm will track near Charleston. The worst of the wind impacts to the right, to the east of the circulation, and heavier rain just north of it and perhaps curving back to the west. So that northerly wind, or that southerly wind, is going to push up water near the coast up to 3 to 5 feet from South Santee River up towards Cape Fear as a storm surge. And keep in mind, that's water above normally dry ground. In addition, we'll likely see very heavy rainfall impacts. Here's a big dip in the jet stream that's pushing a cold front right over here along the Appalachians, and that will help to squeeze all the moisture out of the air. And you can see that really prominently here in this NAM model simulation. And so we're expecting rainfall totals 3 to 5 inches, locally 6 inches plus in the Carolinas. Similar story Mid-Atlantic, about 2 to 4, actually I'd say 3 to 5 there. Locally 6 plus, which is more than 2 months worth of rainfall in some places in parts of the Mid-Atlantic. So a very wet day, even up into New England as well. A little bit lesser, but still significant rainfall totals. And keep in mind, this all comes down in a 6 to 8 hour window. So you could see 2 to 3 inch per hour rainfall rates during that, with a threat of some localized flooding. So do keep an eye on that very closely, especially if you live in an area prone to flooding. One last element we have to mention, sometimes in the front right quadrant of these tropical cyclones, you can get a little bit of tornado activity as the highly sheared, highly spun rain bands on the northeastern flank of it start to rotate. They're oftentimes erratic, quick hitting, sometimes weak, lower end of the tornado spectrum, but still something you have to be aware of. So Myrtle Beach at the Cape Lookout, a little bit inland towards Raleigh. You are under that threat on Monday, and then the entire Atlantic seaboard from Norfolk up to Philadelphia, Allentown, and even into southern New England. You have to watch that on Tuesday as well. Keep it tuned with Capital Weather Gang. We'll be watching this on Facebook, Twitter, capitalweather.com, and of course, every step of the way, we'll be keeping you updated of any warnings and advisories issued. Thanks, gang.